Now this is a useful little tool to have when you're doing whirligigs, and of course other things. You can use it for anything really to do with woodworking. It's a little tiny belt sander. It uses a 1-inch belt like this. Looks a lot longer than what's on there, but it has to go around 3 pulleys, I suppose. So it uses a 1-inch belt. That's the original belt. I don't use it a great deal, to be honest, so it doesn't get a huge amount of work. Quite often, I forgot I even got it. It's tucked away in the back of the workshop, and you tend to forget to use it. But it's quite a nice little thing. I bought this around about 1996, I believe, so he's, what, 23 years old. And he still goes well. It's quite noisy, and it does generate a lot of dust, but it is quite useful. I'll just turn it around and show you. On this side down here, there's a port here to collect the sawdust. It doesn't work very efficiently, because if you're at the top of the belt here, it doesn't seem to suck it very well. But when you're using it, you do really want to use some sort of dust extraction. I've just got an old vacuum cleaner here, and I simply shove this in there. I use it for other things, and I just shove it in the hole there, so that when that's going, it will suck up some of the dust at least. It'll suck up the dust from the bottom end here, but if you're working at the top, it's not so efficient. This top perspex piece, you can just undo this knurled nut on the end here. There's a nut on the other end. You can take that off, and then you've got a surface on here you can use for circular parts as well, if you want to, for sanding. So it's quite useful there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show. I was talking about these little arms earlier on one of my whirligig videos, and the little man that I've made, and how you can chamfer the edges using a knife and sandpaper, or shall I say abrasive paper, to be fair. Sanding the edges around to make them look more realistic, and the same with these arms. Now one way you can do it is on one of these if you've got one. They didn't cost much. When I bought this, I think it was around about £40, that's in UK money. And it's quite good value for what it is. It's quite noisy, so when I'm using it you probably won't be able to hear, so I'll probably keep quiet. That'll be nice for you, and you can see what I'm doing hopefully. I'll just turn the suction on. That's the vacuum cleaner sucking the dust off, and then I just switch that to turn the belt on. All you do is just do this. You can put it on this unsupported piece if you wish. And you can see it does remove quite a lot of the material in one go. You have to be quite careful because it's quite fierce. And it'll grab it off your hand if you're not. You can do the top bit up here if you wish, like this. Or inside the circular part like that. Oh, you can't see it, sorry. Sorry about that, you couldn't see what I was doing. Now you have to be careful, because it's only a tiny thing, but it is quite fierce. As you can see, it's taken quite a lot of material off this very quickly, and it will grab the wood if you're not careful and snatch it out of your hands. So, you know, be a bit careful. It is quite fierce, but it's quite a handy little thing for sanding the edges down and making them a bit more lifelike. So that's that one. Now I've got another tool that you can use, which is also useful, which I'll show you. This is another little tool that I've got, which is very useful for making whirligigs. It's a mini drill. I bought this very cheaply from a local Aldi store actually. I can't remember how much it was. It wasn't much money at all. It was absolutely ridiculously cheap, I thought. It was certainly around about £15 UK money. And it came with an accessory box, which even included this flexible drive, as you can see here, which is how I use it all the time actually. I've actually got 2 of these. And I use one for model railway because it's ideal with little discs for cutting the track, and this one's in the workshop for general workshop use. You can use it with drills and all sorts of attachments. What I do, I have mine hanging up from the ceiling. I've got a bungee hook on the ceiling which is elasticated, and I hang it from that, so it's just hanging above me out of the way, and then I always leave this flexible drive attached. Now all you can do is just, there's a little chuck on it, and you hold this back and it locks the chuck, and you can undo this knurled nut and fit little attachments on. There's a little wire brush there, I've got a little sanding piece what I'm going to use in a moment for the whirligigs. You just tighten it up whilst holding that back to lock it and release that again, and there you go. Now it's got variable speed control as well. I mean, it's ridiculous for how much it costs for what it does. I suppose you'd call it a little like an equivalent to a Dremel, which is a good quality version. It goes quite fast. Turn it off. And you can get various little attachments. There's little saws and abrasive discs and polishing mops and all sorts, you name it. But where it's very useful, I'm going to hang it back up first so I can show you, because it'll be in the way down here. I always leave this hanging above me. Okay, now I've put the thing back up so it's hanging above me, so I've just got the flexible drive hanging down here. I just took it out of the way when I'm not using it. But it's a simple matter to reach up and turn it on and do these little corners and things. It's not very powerful, not compared to the little belt sander I showed you, but I will give you a quick demonstration of it. It'll be a bit noisy probably. There's no dust extraction, so you've got to be careful. You don't want too much. I can't turn it on, it's a bit tight to turn on up there. I've got about medium speed there. And what you can do with it, you can just go around the edges like this. And it's quite handy, because you can go right into the corners, but it does generate a lot of dust, and I'm breathing it in, so probably, if you're a younger person especially, you want to use a mask. I know I'm probably too old to make much difference now, but it's quite handy, and you can get different size discs and cone pieces to put on it, but it is quite good for that. I would advise you to wear some safety glasses when you're using this, especially if you're using the little wire brush thing. I'm going to turn it off now because it's a bit noisy. If you're using these little wire brushes and things, it's always best to put safety glasses on, definitely, because these little pieces can fly out and they'll stab you in the eye. If these little pieces here will fly out. So when you're using one of these, it's best to wear glasses, and I would suggest, if you're doing sanding and things, wearing a mask of some sort to stop the dust getting into your lungs. Like I said, I've been exposed to it too long. In my day, they never used things like that. There was no health and safety. We used noisy machines with no ear protection or anything. It's a fairly modern thing, but it's probably wise, especially if you're younger. You don't want to damage your hearing, or certainly not your sight, or your lungs for that matter. The trouble is, I find if you put too much stuff on, you can't see what you're doing. If you have a safety mask on your face and a pair of goggles, I find the goggles steam up and I can't see what I'm doing. I'm more likely to cut my hand off then, so it's a happy medium sometimes. Anyway, I just thought I'd demonstrate my little power tool. It's quite useful.